Thank you for joining us this week in the Rivets Rundown. I'm so fortunate to be joined right now by the head coach of the Rockford Rivets, Will Oberg. Coach Oberg, first place in the Great Lakes East in the first half. We're now here in the transition period between the first and second half. Can you kind of give me your overview of how you feel about how Rockford performed in the first half?
I think we did our job, and the way things worked out, it was good. But I think guys responded well, just showing up each day and giving our best effort, and then end up working out all right for us. So it was good to see.
What was the one thing that stood out to you the most that you liked from the team in the first half?
That's tough. There's a lot of things to like. There was a few things I didn't like, but I think probably my favorite thing was the bullpen. I think the bullpen was absolutely phenomenal. And especially me being a hitting guy, I don't always, love when we're not hitting and we're out there on defense. But those guys made it pretty fun and pretty enjoyable to watch them go out, take the ball every couple of days and just shut a game down. I mean, there's too many guys to even count down there that were just a problem on the mound in the first half. And that's a challenge here in the second half. We got to find those guys again.
Yeah, and you mentioned, guys that, played really well in the first half. I mean, Jack Pottinger was huge for you guys coming in the closing role. In the big one, obviously, Landon Southern, he comes in last game, of his service before his contract ends, 11 strikeouts over his performance. And so as you mentioned, we transitioned to the second half of the season. Who are some names that we aren't familiar with from the first half of the season that we should become familiar with here in the second half?
We got quite a few guys on the bump. Noah started for us last night. I think he'll be good for us, just adjusting to the league and getting used to being on a new mound, new environment, everything like that. And again, I spoke with guys about it, and we talked about it in the first half. Those first 4 games at Kalamazoo, it's kind of a feeling out process. Some guys aren't in rhythm yet. They're not comfortable in the new environment. It's a new team. Everything's different. So there'll be that adjustment period where you're just settling in. TJ Williams is a guy to look for in the second half. He was with us last year. That guy can change a game. He's a difference maker. Even on his bad days, he's going to find a way to add value, help the team win the game. AJ Taylor's a guy I'm excited about. JR Nelson, Ben Slanker, all position players there. And then, just got some more guys coming in on the mound here over the next week that we're pretty excited about getting them in and keeping this thing rolling.
And, in the first half, Rockford leads the Northwoods League in runs scored and RBI, high-powered offense. How do you see that translating in the second half? Because, again, this is the hardest part of this Northwoods League is, again, you have first half and second half players. You have kids that aren't staying with you the whole season. So the team that, the fans of the Rock Rivets have seen in this first half, there's going to be some familiar faces, obviously, with Maddox Mikolakis, Bakes brothers, guys that you've seen in the first half. But, explain kind of the hard part of re-putting together a team for the second time in one season.
Yeah, I think it's just making sure it's not too weird, if that makes sense. Just there's a little bit of an adjustment where it's like, oh, you're used to seeing Dino in the clubhouse all day, and you're used to interacting with guys like him, Shupman, Zalewski, just different personalities that have become such a big part of our team and such an important part of kind of the culture here in the clubhouse. Just getting used to those guys being gone and getting these new guys in and understand that they're going to be just as big of a part of it. And the sooner we can get them on board and just comfortable here and get to know them a little bit, the better off we're going to be.
Now, we talked in the preseason. We talked a little bit in the spring. And we've kind of, stayed in contact here throughout the first half. I know it was really important for you, to build upon what this team did last year, 45 wins. They didn't make the playoffs in the first, second half, but set the program record in wins at 45. Now that Rockford has, essentially made the playoffs, kind of explain to me your mindset of, not being done or not being satisfied, if you will, and resting on your laurels. Again, Rockford's in the playoffs at the end of the season. You'll see Rockford in the playoffs, but talk about how important this second half is to this team and to you specifically.
Yeah, I mean, we made the playoffs, but we really haven't accomplished anything in the grand scheme of things. The 8 teams make the playoffs with that, like a third of the league. We don't want to just be in the top third of the league. We want to be one of the best teams in this league, and we want to do something that hasn't been done before in Rockford. So that's the goal. But just keep showing up every day. I hate losing. I don't want to stand in that dugout and lose baseball games. So I think that's the biggest part of it. It has nothing to do with benchmarks and trying to win X amount of games and this and that. I just don't want to be in that dugout losing games. And I know the coaching staff in here doesn't want to do that. And I know that the guys in this clubhouse don't want to do that. So we're just going to keep going out there, trying to put together good efforts for 9 innings and keep playing good baseball. That's the biggest thing.
Well, I think that's going to do it here this week for us, Coach. Thank you again for joining us here on the Rivets Rundown, and good luck to you and your team here as we head into the second half, and happy 4th of July here as we get underway. Game 2 in the second half here on 4th of July with the 4th of July Spectacular. So thanks again, Coach Will Oberg. We'll look forward to talking to you the rest of the year.
Appreciate it.